I think this is a good pick for the New York Jets.
Can't go wrong.
No, this guy was over the last year. Everybody said he was predominantly a top 3 pick. He fell out of the top 10, and I think the Jets got him as a steal. I think this is a good move for the New York Jets.
Yeah, this is actually what I was thinking scheme-wise would have been, like we were talking about Latham earlier for the Titans. I think scheme-wise that might have been better for him because he's actually one of the more quicker linemen in this draft. And like you were saying before, Wes, like with Penn State, they've had a much more like well-rounded offense in recent years, and that's a big reason for that is Fashanu really emerging his game. So I like that kind of thing for the Jets.
I think when you sit here and what the New York Jets are trying to do, they want to protect their asset. Their asset is Aaron Rodgers. They don't trust that Tyron Smith is going to stay healthy. Morgan Moses is usually healthy. He stays healthy usually. But these guys are old. And if one of these guys go down, their season is over. They need to make sure that they have protection over there on the side. Obviously, Jeff's favorite player, Mr. Fat Man himself, the big ticket, is no longer a part of the team. So the Jets needed to go and clean up. And I told you, Jeff, I did not think Brock Bowers was going to the Jets.
This pick is baffling to me. Honestly, baffling to me. They're in win now mode, and they just spent a first-round draft pick on someone that won't even see the field.
Well, he's going to see the field. He'll play right tackle this year, and they'll move Morgan Moses either inside if they need it, or he'll be the swing tackle. He's only getting paid like $4 or $5 million. He's coming off a pec injury.
I think what the Jets should do is have him sit for a little while, let him learn behind Tyron Smith.
How does that help you with win now?
You got to play
because
him.
one of these guys are going to go down. None of them are going to. The Jets have had more injuries at the offensive line than any team in football in the last 2 years. Okay, 14 guys have gone down. So you're going to tell me this year it's going to be different? It's not going to happen. You could plug him in. Hold on, Jeff. You could plug him in at guard. You could plug him in at tackle, and he's young. This is a young offensive line. You have Elijah Vera-Tucker, where you're going to have to extend him if he stays healthy. You have Tippmann, and now you have Fashanu. This is a great move for the New York Jets.
I don't think it is a great move for the Jets, but because also, by the way, Joe Douglas has proven that he has no idea who he's taking with offensive line. None of the offensive linemen he's taken have been any good. Well, so what makes you think this is a good pick? Terrible drafting linemen, right? And if those linemen finally get healthy, is Vera-Tucker going to play ahead of it?
I don't know, Jeff. I do remember before the season started, everybody had Fashanu as by far the best offensive lineman in this class. It's not even close.
No, they had Alt as the best lineman.
No, they didn't. Not when the season started. Fashanu, I'm telling you, Jeff. In the beginning of the season, when the season started, Fashanu was everybody said was a top 3 pick.
The list I'm looking. You're not looking at the list I'm looking. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but Joe Alt has been terrific for a long time. Joe Douglas has no idea what he's doing. This should have been Brock Bowers. Veto this pick.
Well, how many plays into the season was the Jets' season over last year because they couldn't protect the quarterback? I mean, this is a responsible pick.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good pick. I don't know what Jeff is talking about. Yes, Brock Bowers. Dude, they have
get linemen later. You can't get a guy that could be the biggest game.
They have Jeremy Rucker, who everybody said has looked every time he's on the field, he looks really, really good. He could block, he could catch, he could do everything. Now this is his chance this year to be that second tight end. I don't understand why they would bring Brock Bowers in when they drafted Jeremy Rucker 2 years ago in the 4th round. I expect Jeremy Rucker to be their future tight end for this organization. I think Jeremy Rucker is more than efficient at the position at the tight end. So I think he's going to be good.
Jeremy Rucker, while he's not a bad player, is not even in the same.
I understand that, but you need to protect this guy. That's what you're trying to do. You want to make sure that Aaron Rodgers is going to be on his 2 feet all season long. Right, if one of these guys go down.
So Fashanu's going to protect him while he's holding up the Gatorade bottle on the sideline?
What are you going to do when if Tyron Smith has never been healthy for a full season?
Then
never.
We shouldn't have signed him. Then we shouldn't have signed him.
They signed him because they signed him for 1 year, and this guy is an all-pro player. So they brought him in, but there's no guarantees he's going to stay healthy. And knowing the Jets, their season would be over if they didn't make this move. This was a good move for the New York Jets. It makes it like Wes said, this protects the Jets' asset, who is their asset? Aaron Rodgers.
That would have been Brock Bowers if they had taken.
Dennis, your thoughts? Obviously, we're here in New York. Malik Nabers going to the New York Giants at 6, and at number 11, the Jets trade down, which was expected, and they go after Fashanu, who I think was a great pick for the New York Jets.
So the Giants need a number 1 receiver. Malik Nabers is in that, like the new prototype receiver is that 6 foot, 200 pounder. And Malik Nabers sits right in there. I like Jalen Hyatt for what he does. I like Wan'Dale Robinson for what he does. But nobody stepped up to be the number 1. My concern for the Giants is they need offensive linemen way worse than the Jets do. I know that Jones is coming back and Locke may start the season. They should spend a couple more picks, early second, third rounders, getting offensive linemen to the Giants. As far as the Jets,
There it is.
Bo Nix.
And 6 quarterbacks in the top 12.
that's
Bo
crazy.
Nix.
I think I'm having a flashback. So
Now the quarterbacks drop off quite a bit.
the thing with the Jets, a lot of their backups are street free agents. They need talent on the offensive line. And as much as I love peak Tyron Smith, we haven't seen that for 6 seasons, maybe. Like you'll get it occasionally. It's like Toby Keith. He's as good as he once was. I forget how it goes. He doesn't do it consistently anymore because of the injuries. So you have to have somebody that can step in when Smith goes down. Moses, I agree with you, could slide into that swing tackle role if Fashanu takes over at right tackle. Vera Tucker seems like he's on the right track, and Tippmann on the interior. But they need depth and they need talent on the offensive line. Brock Bowers would have been a fantastic pick. But we haven't seen Aaron Rodgers consistently use a tight end. He'll use them occasionally, and Robert Tonyan had a good year one season. But it's going to be Garrett Wilson. He's going to get the majority of the targets. And you've got Breece Hall, who's going to command the ball from the backfield. So Bowers seems like, while a good pick, would have been kind of a luxury pick. And based on Rodgers being almost as old as me, I think the offensive lineman was the right move.
Oh, I think it was a great move, and I agree with you. And I know Jeff isn't happy because he wanted Brock Bowers, but to me, as a Jet fan,
I'm a Lions fan, and I'd like Brock Bowers too.
you got a pretty good one in Laporta, so don't worry about that. You're not going to be crying about that one. I mean, that guy's going to be the best tight end in the league in the next 2 years. But if he's not one of the top 3 right now, but I do believe the Jets had to go offensive line. If they lose Tyron Smith or Morgan Moses or any of those guys on the offensive line, their season is over. They don't have a guy that's going to be able to fill in. And what do you need to do? You need to build from the trenches. You have Fashanu, you have Tippmann, who I think is going to be a sensational center and talent moving forward. And Elijah Vera Tucker, if he can stay healthy, he's one of the best offensive linemen in football. You look at his numbers, it would tell you. I think he's only given up, in the games that he's played as a professional, he's only given up 1 sack. And I think in 13 or 14 games in his career. That says a lot about what Elijah Vera Tucker is. He just has to stay away from Denver. Stay away from Denver, and he'll be fine. He won't be tearing anything anymore.